Every few decades, the world rewrites the rules of money, from gold-backed currencies to fiat dominance to the rise of digital payments and blockchain. We're now entering the next chapter, not with a bang, but with a whisper. While the headlines scream Bitcoin, while the influencers pump Ethereum, while the mainstream argues over meme coins and market dips, something far more significant is quietly taking shape. And it's not on your Twitter feed. It's not trending on YouTube. And it's not being discussed on the evening news. It's happening behind closed doors, in elite financial circles, inside the Bank for International Settlements, the institution that advises and directs over 60 central banks, representing 95% of global GDP. In their latest strategic blueprint, they just made a subtle but game-changing revelation. A move that doesn't just support digital transformation, but confirms the kind of technology they want at the foundation of this new monetary order. Not proof of work, not Ethereum's layered complexity, not speculation-driven tokens. They're looking at something different, faster, cleaner, enterprise-grade, something built for governments, banks, and billion-dollar networks, but powered by the very same technology you and I can hold in our wallets today. That technology is Hedera Hashgraph. That token is HBAR. This is no longer a fringe play. This isn't some future prediction. This is happening now. The financial reset is no longer coming. It's underway. And HBAR isn't on the sidelines. It's in the engine room. Short pause. And here's the truth most people still haven't realized. This isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about positioning yourself at the edge of one of the biggest technological transitions in monetary history. HBAR is already working with Google, IBM, Standard Bank, and the world's top institutions. Now, it's being aligned, confirmed by the very architects of the next financial system, the BIS. If you're holding HBAR, considering it, or even dismissing it, what you're about to see will challenge everything you thought you knew about this token and its role in the world to come. For years, the term financial reset sounded like a conspiracy theory. Whispers in Telegram groups, buried threads on Reddit, shadowed by clickbait headlines. But today, it's no longer speculation. It's public policy. It's institutional strategy. It's happening in plain sight. The COVID-19 pandemic didn't just shake economies. It accelerated a timeline that global powers had quietly been building toward for over a decade. A new financial era, one that ditches the slow, outdated, and fragmented systems of the past in favor of something digitized, centralized, and programmable. And while the public was busy watching stimulus checks and inflation spikes, something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. Central banks began testing digital currencies. Governments started exploring programmable money. Multinational institutions started funding tokenized finance infrastructure. All under one theme, the Great Reset. Let's be clear, this reset isn't just about swapping paper cash for apps. It's a full-blown redesign of how money moves across the world. And the institutions driving it, not startups, not influencers, but heavyweight entities like the World Economic Forum, IMF, and most importantly, the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS. The BIS isn't just another organization. It's the central bank of central banks. It sets the tone for global monetary policy. When they move, the world's financial system follows. And their message, the future of finance must be interoperable between countries, secure for institutions, compliant by design, eco-friendly and scalable, and above all, built on infrastructure that governments and corporations can actually trust. So the question is no longer if the financial system is being reset. The real question is, who's building the rails for it? Because behind the flashy coins and noisy narratives, there's a quiet, precise, enterprise-grade network doing exactly that. One with the speed, the governance, the partnerships, and now the institutional validation to back it up. That network is Hedera Hashgraph, and its token HBAR may be the silent giant everyone will wish they saw sooner. For months, maybe years, those who follow Hedera have been called early. Some called it boring. Some said it was too corporate. Too slow. Not crypto enough. But now the silence is over. Because the Bank for International Settlements, the most powerful monetary institution in the world, just released a paper that changes everything. Tucked inside a recent BIS Innovation Hub report is a vision, a blueprint really for the future of tokenized finance. And what they describe isn't a dream. It's a checklist, a requirement, and it matches Hedera almost line for line. Let's break it down. Finality in seconds? Heavy checkmark Hedera offers it. No forks, no guesswork, just certainty. Low, predictable fees? Heavy checkmark, HBAR transactions cost fractions of a cent, and always will, thanks to Hedera's fixed fee structure. Institutional grade governance? Heavy checkmark, Google, IBM, Standard Bank, LG, Dell, and the world's top enterprises aren't just partners. They sit on Hedera's governing council. Sustainable by design? Heavy checkmark, the BIS emphasized the need for climate-conscious infrastructure. Hedera uses a fraction of the energy consumed by Bitcoin or Ethereum. Verified by the UCL Center for Blockchain Technologies, it ranks among the greenest distributed networks on Earth. And it goes even deeper. The BIS explicitly stated that any system used for future cross-border payments, digital assets, and tokenized settlements must be fully compliant with regulatory frameworks. It must integrate identity. It must be transparent. It must be interoperable with central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Sound familiar? Because Hedera is already building that. Right now, in live pilots, Hedera is being used for CBDC experimentation with the MTech Digital Regulatory Sandbox. Digital identity frameworks through partnerships with Avalon, LCX, and the IWA. Tokenization of real-world assets from gold to carbon credits. And stablecoin issuance, already tested on the Hedera network by banks in South Korea and Africa. These aren't white papers. These aren't ideas. These are live, tested, regulated solutions. And here's the kicker. The BIS didn't name Hedera directly in bold letters. They didn't have to, because the technical requirements, the compliance structure, the settlement design, it all points to one thing. The financial reset will not be built on hype. It will be built on trust, performance, and regulation. It will be built on Hedera. HBAR is no longer just a crypto token. It's a ticket to the infrastructure of tomorrow's financial world. And now, the BIS has confirmed that the world is moving toward the very architecture HBAR has already perfected. Let's take a step back. In a market filled with speculation, short-term pumps, and endless promises of the next big thing, HBAR stands out for one simple reason. It wasn't built to go viral. It was built to last. While most crypto projects rush to market, fighting over transaction speeds and flashy use cases, Hedera Hashgraph was quietly solving the problems that actually matter to governments, banks, and billion-dollar enterprises. Problems like, how do you achieve real-time settlement with finality? No rollbacks, no forks. How do you run a global financial network that doesn't choke on fees or crash when demand spikes? How do you build trust in a system that isn't run by one person, one company, or one shadowy foundation? Hedera didn't just build a solution, it built the solution. Let's talk about the tech. Unlike traditional blockchains, Hedera doesn't bundle transactions into blocks. Instead, it uses a patented algorithm called the Hashgraph consensus mechanism, a revolutionary innovation based on something called gossip about gossip. That means transactions are processed in parallel, not in sequence. Confirmation happens within seconds, not minutes or hours. And every single transaction is timestamped and verified with mathematical certainty. It's not proof of work. It's not proof of stake. It's asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerant, one of the highest standards of security in distributed computing. Military grade, enterprise grade, future ready. Now combine that with this fixed ultra-low fees, predictable even when network usage surges. Carbon negative operations, certified and publicly tracked. No miners, no gas wars, no front running, no MEV. This isn't just innovation, it's optimization. And then there's governance. Because when you're building the rails of a future financial system, decentralization must be more than a buzzword. That's why Hedera's governance model is unlike any other. It's not run by anonymous developers or influencers. It's managed by a governing council of 39 multinational giants, each running a node and rotating decision-making powers. We're talking Google, IBM, Boeing, Dell, Standard Bank, Shinhan Bank, LG, UBS, Nomura, and more. And guess what? No one, not even Hedera itself, holds a controlling vote. That's real decentralization with real accountability. In short, HBAR was never meant to ride the hype cycle. It was built from day one to serve the needs of governments issuing CBDCs, banks launching tokenized assets, corporations tracking supply chains, and institutions demanding speed, security, and compliance. Now that the BIS and other central institutions are outlining a future that looks exactly like what Hedera has already built, you have to ask yourself, was HBR ahead of its time? Or was it right on schedule? For a reset we were all warned was coming. For years, while the crypto spotlight chased hype, from ICO frenzies, to NFT explosions, to meme coin madness, Hedera Hashgraph stayed quiet. No hype campaigns, no celebrity endorsements, no flashy marketing stunts, just builders building, engineers solving real problems, and global institutions quietly laying infrastructure in the background. And while others were chasing clout, Hedera was chasing credibility. Because here's the truth. Revolutions aren't always loud. Sometimes they're engineered in silence. HBAR didn't need to shout because it had something most projects could only dream of: real adoption. Behind the scenes, HBAR has been powering carbon credit tracking in Kenya, healthcare record security in the US and UAE, digital bond issuance and tokenized treasuries, micropayments for IoT devices, digital identity pilots with major regulators and NGOs. And more importantly, every single one of these is live. Not just coming soon. Not Q4 roadmap vaporware. Live. Verified. Operational. You see, Hedera was never trying to win the speculative race. It was preparing for a day when governments, central banks, and enterprises would all need one thing: a network they could trust. And that day is now. The BIS just confirmed that the future of global finance will rely on technology that is fast, final, compliant, energy efficient, and institutionally governed. That is Hedera. So what happens when the institutions go live? What happens when CBDCs need instant, cross-border settlement? What happens when real estate, bonds, carbon credits, and supply chains all shift to tokenized infrastructure? They'll need rails. They'll need trust. They'll need Hedera. And HBAR, the native fuel of this network, will become more than just a token. It will be the key to operating in the new economy. The silent build-up is over. The partnerships are public. The pilots are live. The confirmation has come. And now, HBAR steps into the spotlight, not as the next hype cycle, but as the network chosen by the system itself. So here we are. After years of noise, after thousands of tokens, after endless promises of revolution, we're finally seeing what this space was always leading toward: the rebuilding of the global financial system, not from scratch but from the inside out. It's not coming. It's happening. Right now. Led by governments. Powered by institutions. Mapped by the Bank for International Settlements, the very architects of monetary policy for over a century. And at the heart of it all, standing silently in position, is Hedera Hashgraph. Not because it shouted the loudest, not because it pumped the hardest, but because it did what others didn't. It built. It built a ledger that doesn't guess, it confirms. It built a governance model that doesn't rely on popularity, but on accountability. It built infrastructure trusted by IBM, Google, and global banks before the world even knew it would need it. This isn't some moonshot project. This isn't the next wave of retail euphoria. This is a rail system, an operating layer for governments, banks, and industries that are now digitizing trillions of dollars in assets. And HBAR is the fuel. When central banks roll out digital currencies, when corporations tokenize real estate, commodities, and carbon credits, When supply chains require verifiable data on-chain in real time, they won't be asking which meme coin is trending. They'll be asking, which network can we trust? Which ledger is built for performance, compliance, and scale? Which platform has already been quietly solving problems at the level that matters? And more, that answer points to Hedera. The world has changed. The reset is no longer theoretical. The blueprint has been published. And the BIS just confirmed what HBR holders have known all along. The future of money won't be built on hype. It'll be built on Hedera. So ask yourself, when the history books are written, when today's coins are long forgotten, and when the rails of tomorrow are already moving trillions, will you be able to say you saw it coming? Will you be one of the few who understood the shift before it became obvious? Or will you be one of the many who realized, just a little too late? HBR isn't waiting. The institutions aren't waiting. And the future won't wait either. Make no mistake, the financial reset has begun. And Hedera is at the center of it all.